So Mercury was started in 1989, and principally we're known to be really the infomercial kings. So on any given weekend, we'll have 30 to 50% of every infomercial that you may see on a Saturday or Sunday morning across all networks. But over the last couple of years, the group has grown and it has acquired other agencies. So now we have a big presence in Boston, and obviously a growing presence in Santa Monica, where we work with infomercial entrepreneurs as well as corporate advertisers. So it might be a Neutrogena or a Hoverround or a Carvel ice cream, e-diets, others of that ilk that are looking to take their products online, on television, and drive response from one medium to the other. So in most instances, our clients will have big call centers, or we'll work with them to get call centers, or they'll have very active websites and mobile activities. But the basic premise is they're using television to drive leads across all those platforms. And increasingly, we have a Hispanic group, Mercury en Español, which is very much focused on capturing the 42 million Americans that are now increasingly watching television on Univision and TV Azteca and Televisa, Telemundo. So the Hispanic community is increasingly looking at direct response television, which we do. Now in this particular event, it's interesting for us because we do on television what a lot of the online lead gen folks do on the web and increasingly mobile. We actually create commercials that drive leads. We also help clients convert. So increasingly in the industry, there's almost like, I hate to use the word synergy, but there's definitely a coming together of television and online opportunities, which rises, all boats in that harbor because everyone's the beneficiary of television. So Mercury, started as an infomercial business, has very quickly branched out to be working with some of the blue chip corporate advertisers, not just now in television, but across a whole variety of platforms. Well, so I'll give an example, and I always say to folks, everyone seems to know Ron Papil and the Bass-O-Matic, and we've worked with a lot of these folks. They're very smart, they're real entrepreneurs, and as many business people would like, they've actually made a lot of money. So their methodology, their art, and the science around creating infomercials has really seeped into the rest of commercial activities for a lot of us on television. So we have a client named Nuance, which has a product called Dragon. It was Dragon Systems in Boston, which does speech recognition software. Exactly. And it's really taken off. You have it. That's terrific, because what we've done with them is we had a drive to retail strategy. So around the holidays, we did television with them, and they were able to really just crank up the number of folks that saw the commercial and went to the retail stores to ask for the product. So you see someone who traditionally would never have thought of using television, using it, and they're now the beneficiaries of it, and now that they've tasted sort of what they can get out of the nectar of direct response television, they're coming back for more, and that's pretty common. Once you get into television, and many folks are shy to do it, the results are usually positive, which you test, and they keep coming back. Well, yeah, I have a couple thoughts, because you made some very good points there. I've had a number of people here just on the floor say, I really like infomercials because they're entertaining. And you have short infomercials, they're called short form. Well, you're right, you have 30-second, 60-second, and 2 minutes. And now increasingly there are 5-minute infomercials, and then 28 or 30 minutes. So that's what you might see on a Sunday. We actually do them all. So we have a big business that does what is called long form, and then most of our corporate business is what is called short form, and that's bought differently, it's designed, and the production around it is different as well. But a couple thoughts, there's something that's really starting to take off, and that's interactive television. So, and I'll get to the TiVo point in a minute, which is a good one. If we're sitting on a chair watching TV, I have to reach over and call a call center traditionally, or I might be multitasking, and I know we all do it with our Blackberries and our web here. But interactive television will allow us to click and buy, and it may either go to your credit card or it's going to go to your cable bill. So I see this as really, after 10 years of investment, it's now just starting to take off, and we think it's going to get us away from some of the TiVo issues. And you're right in what you said, but I'll add one more piece to that, because we look at those studies carefully and know TiVo. A lot of the folks that actually do use TiVo and then watch the commercials, their propensity to buy is actually much higher because they're looking at the ad because they're very interested in it.
They stop it if they see one they like.
And then they're more likely to buy than otherwise. So there is some silver lining in the statistics if you look at it differently. But at least too, you're capturing the audience. So if I'm at work and I'm missing a show, but I'm taping it, so to speak, I still have the opportunity to see it. So at some point, it's net, perhaps. I mean, look, I think one thing you're bringing up is we try to find the audience, right? That's one of the science aspects of direct response television. It's not just broadcasting to a wide audience. We're trying to find, guys that like you that might want to buy blue shirts. And that's where I'm speaking directly to you. I think that's really important. And secondly, like you said, one of the keys is telling a story, telling an infomercial story. It's entertaining. So people are likely to watch it and then hopefully take action, which is really what our whole industry is about. So, I mean, you raise a good point, and that puts more pressure on the creative side of the business, which, as you know, is always important, right? A good story has to tell itself and sell itself. Yeah, so excellent question. Obviously television now is going to the web, is going to mobile, and what differentiates the different channels is, because all of our clients are asking for it, and we know as an industry, you just see it here today, are demanding it, it's the size. So if you're doing an infomercial, so to speak, on mobile, it has to be 15 seconds, probably no more than 30 seconds. So I think what we're trying to do is sort of edit the creative so that it fits the medium. That has a lot of implications around the way you do shoots, et cetera, but the industry is really trying to rapidly change to take advantage of that. But I would also say this, every time you run a television commercial, your web hits rise. So I mentioned before, it's the rising tide lifts all boats. The web guys are the beneficiaries of television, and they,